The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Hosted by me, Carl B. Phillips, Uncle Carl.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Get ready for another great conversation on The Carl B. Phillips Show. This week's guest on The Carl B. Phillips Show, Emmy and Grammy-nominated artist Peg Luke. Welcome to The Carl B. Phillips Show. Today's guest is an Emmy and Grammy-nominated artist. Her music covers classical to spiritual. She's been playing piano and the flute since she was a young child. Her recordings have sold thousands of copies throughout the world. Please help me welcome Peg Luke. How's it going, Peg?
Good. How are you, Carl?
I'm doing awesome. How are things going for you in your world?
Well, it's a very interesting life that I lead here in Colorado at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, okay. Colorado, I've had a chance to hang out in Denver. And then I went to Durango, Colorado. That was fun.
Oh, good. That's far south from us. We're kind of north. We're toward the Wyoming border.
Okay.
We're north of Denver, and probably about an hour and a half from the Rocky Mountains National Park.
Okay.
So we can see the mountains in their glory every day.
Wow.
So yeah, it really is a testament to the glory of God and what God has given us so freely. And we're in the fall season right now.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves here have been amazing. And I look out at the leaves and I look at the colors, and it's been so colorful this year.
Wow.
And I think, we are given all these unbelievable miracles.
Right.
We don't even think about them because, okay, it's another year. Okay, it's this, and okay, it's that. But to look upon what happens, we think we understand it. We think we know exactly what we understand it. But really, do we? We really have so many things to be so grateful for.
Most definitely.
And we kind of overlook them. So what I try to do is every day when I see something that I take for granted, I try to say, Lord, you've put this right in front of my eyes. What am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to take from this? And I think what we're supposed to take from this is the magnificent and the glory and the universal God, what he just gives to us.
Right.
Or she, it's just amazing.
It's interesting. When I was in Durango, Colorado, I was renting a car, and the person renting the car to me said, Carl, you have to be careful because the mountains will absorb you. And I didn't understand what they meant. So I started Googling, and it talked about how the mountains make people feel closer to God. And I had never thought of it that way before. I was always, get me to a beach and an ocean, but being around mountains is so peaceful.
It's something different. I mean, I've lived also in just south of Jacksonville in St. Augustine by the water too. And I love the water too. I'm a Pisces, so I'm a water baby. So I absorb all of those things, it's amazing. And sometimes it's not even water or mountains, or maybe it's just the flatness of the land. I remember when we were traveling across the country, my husband and I, we had lived in Nashville for my career, and then he's a doctor, and he really wanted to work again. So there was a job out here in Colorado, and so we made the trip from Nashville to Denver, and going through Kansas or South Dakota, where there's nary a tree.
Right.
And it's just flat. And there's something about the sky, the horizon. It talks to you. It speaks to you. If you're quiet enough to listen. When I used to travel a lot by cars, Carl, I'm getting off the point. When I used to travel by car a lot, I used to compose a lot in the car. I don't listen to music. Um, and it would just come to me. And now that I'm more quiet and more in the house and more toward this area, I don't travel as much. I'm brought to the same piece, but in a different way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Funny.
speaking of music, if you could join any band, which one would you join and what would your role be in the band?
The Heavenly Celestial Band. That's the band I want to join. I want to join the band that's shouting, He is risen, we are free.
Wow.
That's the band I want to be a part of. I was thinking about that question. I'm like thinking, well, I'm a classically trained artist.
Hmm.
So if you say band, I think of orchestra. I got into writing more Christian music once my parents passed as I got older. And then that kind of absorbed me more into the commercial world. So then that band would seem to apply more. But the more that I thought about the question, I thought, no, I want to be part of something greater. That beautiful, heavenly band up in the sky that is so luminous. It's just
Right.
full of light and good news, great news, freeing news. That's the band.
Reminds me of
And I have a
the
lot of people up there that I know.
reminds me of the of the old song "When the Saints Go Marching In." Oh, how I
Oh,
want to be in that number.
I want to be in that number, Carl. I want to be in that number.
When the Saints go
Sign me
marching
up.
in. You mentioned your parents. You started playing piano at 5 years old and the
Yeah.
flute at 7 years old. What was the driving factor behind your decision to pursue music?
My sister and brother, they're both older than I am. They
Mhm.
were both doing music. And so I would hear them practicing. And I thought, oh, I really love it and I need to learn. But I was very shy, extremely shy, and
Mhm.
didn't want to ask to take piano lessons. And so my mom said, if you want to take piano lessons, you're going to have to go in and ask the teacher yourself. I don't know if I can do that. I'm clinging to you. I don't want to get out on my own. But I wanted to do it so bad that I asked her. And so that was the start of my piano. And from there, I really started composing when I started learning piano at the age
Mhm.
of 5. And then at the age of 7, I felt like I was divinely called. I was in the car and um, I was riding with my parents, and I remember the spot right in my hometown of Sterling, Illinois. And there was this jolt, and it was like, I don't know whether it was an angel, must have been, came down and said, you need to play the flute, and that's what you need to do for your living. And that's what you Well, that was such a strong calling
Mhm.
that I kept going with it, even though it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any money. You don't have this big career. And it's like, but I was called. And so I started flute at the age of 7, and my parents were so supportive. And from there, I guess the rest is history.
So you started 5, 7 years old. Talk about the training you received, which helped you to develop your musical skills.
Well, my parents didn't know much about music. Neither one of them were musicians. My dad was a businessman, and my mom was a second grade teacher.
Mhm.
So they employed help from their friends to say, how do we get the best training for our children?
Mhm.
And someone said, you have to enroll them in private lessons. So they got private lessons for us. And I had some great teachers, starting off with Gail Coffey, who is now since passed. She was a great flutist, but she was also a great pianist. And so that inspired me to keep my piano going so I could
Mhm.
accompany people and accompany students. And in the future. And I had Mary Louise Poor, who was also a very, very prominent flutist. And she was extremely strict with me. And she's the one that made me into the flute player that I am. She demanded a lot out of me. And then I had several flute teachers after that and piano teachers after that. A great flute teacher I had later on in my life was Jeffrey Gilbert. He was a flute teacher for James Galway, Trevor Y., William Bennett. And he told me after taking with him privately, he said, quit college and just do the solo career. And I said, no, I don't believe you. So I went back to college and I kept going. And now that I look back on it, I thought, that was a missed opportunity. I should have probably done it. But, God had a bigger calling for me. And then after that, like I said, my parents died. I taught flute and piano at the university level for decades. I did 11 Carnegie Hall concerts with flute solo. And I realized after my parents died, there was something more important. And God was calling me in a different direction. And I had a producer by the name of Neil Merrick Blackwood that contacted me. I didn't know him, and I didn't know anything about gospel music. I didn't know anything about the commercial world, the business world of music. And he contacted me. He said, let's do a flute project together. And I said, okay, whatever. People approach me all the time. And my parents passed, and I said, I need to do something more.
Right.
There's something more in me. And I was called to do psalm space because my mom was a big advocate for the psalms. And so I took my favorite psalms and her favorite psalms, and we merged them. And I took 6 months of heavy duty writing, and we put them together, went to Nashville, and put together this project called Psalm Space. And then after that, things just kind of kept growing. Had a lot of singles after that. And so being a singer, I have never been formally taught. I've never had a private vocal lesson in my life. I've had people saying, I'd love to teach you and you could go all over with your voice. And that scared me. I wasn't ready to do that. But my mom always believed in me and always said, I think you should really do some vocal work. And it wasn't until after everything was said and done and God came calling saying, you need to sing. You need to not only do your flute, your piano, your composing, but you need to sing too. So here I am. And here we are.
So you went from piano to flute to singing. Do you recall your first performance and either playing an instrument or as a singer? What was your first performance like?
Um, it was probably in the church choir.
Okay.
I sang in the church choir early on. Sang every Sunday, got up early and sang, and um, it was like I was supposed to be doing it.
hmm
Do you ever feel that way? Like you're
Yeah,
supposed to be doing something
I
and you
do.
don't know why you're supposed to be doing it, but you're doing it
You just
because
do. Yeah.
it feels like the right thing to do. So, and of course I had, piano recitals. That was really young. Carl, you're going way back. You're going way back. You're really testing this AARP mind of mine.
I've learned to embrace being a part of the AARP generation.
Me
Um,
too.
I recently turned 65 and I was at a restaurant and they were ringing up my bill and I'm like, did you give me my senior total? I need my senior discount. And before, I was like, I would never talk about it. No, no, I want my senior discount. I'm not ashamed. Here's my AARP. Give me my 10%,
That's
Denny's.
right. That's right. That's right. We're here. We're here.
Where
That's
you
right.
most definitely. You talked about you and your husband traveling across the country.
Mhm.
You recently posted on Instagram that you and Jack Luke celebrated 15 years of marriage. What
Thank you.
has life been like making music and loving Jack over the past
Mm,
15 years?
mm. Well, I first met Jack when I was in high school, unbeknownst to either one of us. And he
Mhm.
was 6 years older. And we didn't start in the same area of the country, but we ended up, excuse me, later in our lives in Dubuque, Iowa, of all places.
Hmm.
And he was married and he had 4 children. And the marriage didn't work out. And it was hard. It was a 30-year marriage. And I knew Jack because I'd always played a lot of gigs with him. And he's a nice guy and always thought very highly of him. And a year and a half after the divorce, he just mentioned to me, "Would you like to go out?" And I was just shocked because
Wow.
I'd never been married. I didn't have any children because my career had always been first. And so I said, "Oh, sure. Why not? Why not?" And it just, again, that was another God wink moment. It was like, okay, this is comfortable. I always felt like Jack was like up here and I was down here. I never felt like I was his level. He was a doctor, well-known doctor, and he was very smart and very intellectual. And I thought, I have nothing to do. I shouldn't be with this kind of individual. I'm not good enough for this. And somehow God became the center of our relationship.
Hmm.
The center. It was, and Jack always said, God brought us together. And I said, yeah, God brought us together. And I was 50 years old when I got married. 50
Wow.
years old, and my dad had just died of cancer. And my dad met Jack. And I remember conversations that my dad had with Jack on his deathbed.
Hmm.
And my dad wasn't a talker. And I remember Jack stayed with him the whole afternoon, and he said he talked to him and would not be quiet. And I just thought, that's a good sign. And so, yeah, I think every marriage, it's a give and take. There's compromise. There's sometimes when it's not so easy. But I come back to the God and the faith moment.
Hmm.
That's what is our glue. It always will be, no matter what. As we get into our older years, we realize how fortunate we are to
Hmm.
still be here, number one.
Right.
And number two, that this force that we have and this marriage that we have isn't conventional. I mean, it's not like people would say, well, I see him with her or I see her. No, there's something to it. And because of it, we've had a lot of music that we've been able to do together. And it's gone out to the world. And there have been a lot of people that have seen it. So it's amazing.
Wow. So my next question is about somebody that just kind of popped up in the video.
She is the star. This is my cha-cha, and she does not like screens, so she's not going to look at the screen. That's
It's just so
cha-cha.
ironic that Cha-Cha was going to be my next question.
She knew.
What
She's
has
new.
been
She's
a
the oh,
what has been a fur parent meant to you having Cha-Cha in the home?
oh, very comforting. It's like, again, it's like a God wink moment. It's supposed to be. She was left on the side of the road in New Mexico, and her whole family had died of parvovirus, and she was the only one that was surviving.
Oh, wow.
And we got her through a rescue service here in Colorado, and we met her, and that was that. And so she's been with us for a long time now, and she's a fur angel. She's my fur angel. I know it, Carl. I know it. And she's laying right on my lap as I'm talking to you until I put the screen down. And then she doesn't like the Hollywood thing.
She, she,
But
she
she's a
just want to be
great,
just let me just lay in your lap. I don't have to be on the screen.
that's right. She's a great companion. She's marvelous. She helps me through my disease. She, yeah, she has been fabulous.
In reading your bio, you just kind of talked a little bit about the disease that you're dealing with. And the bio talked about that during the pandemic, you received a life-altering autoimmune diagnosis which caused you to be in isolation. How has music helped you in this time of dealing with what you're dealing with?
Yeah, it keeps me alive. It's healing. It's healing. Like right now, I have my lymph nodes are swollen in my tongue and in my neck and in my gooms. Um, it's a very, no one knows anything about the disease. The disease is not studied.
Mhm.
Um, there's no cure. We don't know the origins of the disease, although they believe it's from a sudden jolt to the intestines. And I've been in a lot of car accidents. When I was born, I was a blue baby. I had a really rough birth back in 1960. And I was a very, very quick delivery. So I feel like I've been dealing with signs of this disease most of my life. I was also in a really bad car accident when I was 7 years old, tossed through two car windows.
Oh my.
Um, so I think there may have been reasons why I have it's scarring on the mesentery, and then what's happened is the what would you call it? It's almost like um, it's unexplainable the pain that goes along with it.
Mhm.
It's like it radiates from the inside of the body. It's nothing external, it's all internal. And then it's gone into my lymph nodes. So my lymph nodes swell, and when my lymph nodes swell, it becomes very uncomfortable. So it can put me in bed. Like this last weekend, I was in bed. But you know what it's done? You would think that I would be really pissed off, PO'd, and want to give God the riot act.
Right.
And you know what it's made me do? It's made me realize the beauty of life, the gratefulness that I have in my heart that I'm alive today and that I can talk to you and speak with you. It's done the opposite. It's made my faith extremely strong. And if God would take me tomorrow, if he would say, okay, Peg, your time here on earth is done, I would be ready and I would be thrilled. That's when the first question you asked me about what band do you want to play in? I'm always like, I think there's something better for us. We need to be freed. We need to be freed of ourselves.
Right.
And maybe that's what this disease has done. It's put chains around my body physically, but spiritually, it's freed me from those chains and the, the proclamation that Jesus rises for each one of us, that we all have this eternal life. This is not the end. This disease is not the end. This is not where everything ends. And my music has been a part of proclaiming this witness. That's where my music comes in.
Uh, Another thing that I read on your Instagram page
Oh,
that I thought, yeah,
writing.
I did go on your
Looking at
Instagram.
my Instagram page a lot.
Yeah, I tell artists, yeah, I'll go stalk your Instagram page before I interview you.
I've been looking at you too, so
So the thing that I found interesting was, and I'm going to quote what you said. One of the shortest paths to God is through music. And you said that in relationship to the song, My Faith Looks Up to Thee. So
oh,
hearing your testimony now, I understand what you're saying. So
yeah.
kind of elaborate a little bit more on how My Faith Looks Up to Thee, what that song means to you, what the recording means to you, and what you want, the journey you want listeners to take when they hear your recording of My Faith Looks Up to Thee.
Well, I took it from the old hymn. My faith looks up to thee, thou Lamb of Calvary. That old tune. And I reworked it. And I reworked it in an Irish jig, Irish reel. I love the sound of Uilleann pipes. And a Uilleann pipe is a smaller bagpipe, usually placed on the lap, and it is usually electronic in nature. So I loved that instrument. So I said, I want to use that along with a fife, an Irish flute, and an Irish harp. And I wanted you to be able to rejoice and dance to it. So instead of the solemn hymn, I wanted it to light up. And I love doing that. I love reworking old hymns.
So, another thing I found interesting is that your music is a mix of classical and spiritual.
Mm.
Talk about, you mentioned a little earlier, but go a little more in depth around why you wanted to emerge the two different genres together.
Because that's the music that God sends me. That's what I hear. That's what I hear in my heart. And my heart, my spirit, I feel many times that my music comes from angels, spirits, God, whatever the case may be. That's why I don't fit into a box.
Hmm.
My music is just kind of a unique blend. And that's why I do what I do. It's given to me. And then if it keeps coming to me and it becomes very important, and it's like it starts gnawing, it's like, okay, the melody's here, the words are here, and it keeps repeating itself. Like, okay, I have to write it down. And that's where it comes. So it's that whole nudging thing, it's like we talked about it earlier, like, it's the right thing. The soul is saying yes. So that's my.
One of the song titles that I found interesting, God on a Bumper Sticker.
Yeah.
Explain
That's
that song.
that's a special song. That came definitely, because that's nothing I could dream up, believe me. I've had an out of body experience. When I was in college, I took a relaxation class and I went out of my body for a few seconds and then came back down. And I realized that there's something more to life. Life continues after we leave our body. That's what it told me. So I wanted to take a song where somebody was really down on their luck and they didn't have any belief, no belief in God, no nothing, just belief in that their life was horrible. And they've been driving all night. They got real tired and they got in a fatal car accident.
Hmm.
And somehow the car in front of them had God on the bumper sticker. And after they died, they went up to heaven and God said, "You're not done yet. You have something to proclaim. You have to go back and make your life the way that I want you to make your life, which is
Hmm.
unbelievable. Tell my story. Tell what you can do for people. Tell how you can save people." That's what it was. And it was about, they saw themselves on the table, operating table, and they knew that they had to come back. And when they came back, it had changed their lives. And they're no longer in this, gosh, I hate the world. I hate my life. They were now like, I see something more. There's something more. There's something more than just this. There's something more. I love my life because I have something to proclaim. I have an important message for you and you and you and you.
God on a Bumper Sticker. Hmm. We've talked a lot about your music, about your performance. When you think about life, what is one of the most beautiful pieces of music that you've heard?
It comes back to, I was in New York City and I was doing one of my Carnegie Hall concerts, and my husband and I got tickets for Broadway. And we got these really seats that were way off in the balcony, and I was getting really bad vertigo. And I said, I can't sit here. So I went back down to the box office. I said, I can't do this. They said we had two seats that just opened up. There are two seats right in the middle, about 10 rows up, right in the center. And I heard Renee Fleming sing To Dream the Impossible Dream. And I was cake. I was done. I was done. I was like, give me Kleenex, give me any. I was just sobbing. It was the most beautiful thing, I think, and singing right to us. Another God wink moment.
You see, to dream the
The
impossible
impossible.
dream. I don't remember all of it. That's the
I
only
don't
line I
either.
remember.
I don't either. I don't either. I don't remember all the lyrics.
Was it Man of La Mancha, I think it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard the song plenty of times. It's an awesome song. It's an
Oh
awesome
my
song.
gosh. Unbelievable.
Well, maybe we can get you know, in the future, a version of the Impossible Dream out of you.
There, there you go. Thank you, Carl. I'll take notes down on that one.
You think you can play it? You can sing it, a little flute.
Thank you. Thank you. Will do.
So, what's on Peg's bucket list?
Oh, well, I've got this project calling 52 Weeks. It's a devotional where I'm going to write 52 new tunes. And it's going to be kind of a meditation for me. I need time to just go, I need time to pray. I need to be still and know that I am God moments.
Right.
And that's what this is. This is a cleansing. You know, you give, and then sometimes you just got to go, I need to receive God. I need to receive. So that's where I'm at right now. And then I'm also thinking about redoing the J.S. Bach flute sonatas in a new and weird way. And probably doing some more Christian singles here and there scattered in.
Maybe we can get you to do a little Christian hip hop or something.
That's would be cool. Maybe you could teach me the Detroit hip hop. Detroit,
There's a
right?
there's a young man out of Detroit. He goes by the name of Black Bach, and he's a piano player, and
Oh,
he mixes hip hop with classical music. I've
and
seen some of the stuff that he's done. It's awesome.
I've got to find him. I've got to find him
Yeah.
because that's what I want to do.
Who
Okay.
knows? It could be, a combination in the future, collaboration down the road.
Yeah, who knows? You never know.
How can people follow you on social media? How can they contact you and how can they get your music?
Yeah, Peg Luke. Anytime you Google Peg Luke, just Google Peg Luke, a lot of things will come up. I think that's the best way to find me. Just Google me.
Peg Luke.
Yeah.
And stay off of Instagram? No, no, I'm just
Yeah, yeah. Just Google me. That's the
joking.
best way to do it. I
I,
wanted to say too, in with our world, things that are happening in our world, I just want to let you know that I'm on the side of we need to help each other.
right,
That's the side I'm on right now. I'm on the side we need to help the person that is struggling. We need to help the person that is lost. We need to help the person that doesn't have any hope. And with what's going on right now, we have a lot of different avenues that we can help.
mm,
And I urge all your listeners to reconsider what they're called to do in their life. Everyone is called. And I want you to reconsider, especially as we go into the holiday season, if you have been blessed financially, using some of your blessings toward people that really need your help.
right,
Perhaps not getting that Game Boy I'm a AARP, so Game Boy would be right, but I'm sure they don't say Game Boy anymore. But that would be what I would really ask, that your dollars, that your volunteerism, that your hope, that your love can be felt by people you may not even know. Because this is our gift. This is what we've been put on this earth for, is to help each other.
right. Wow. Peg, this has been such an awesome interview. I've enjoyed
You're
speaking with
awesome.
you, and I've
Oh,
enjoyed meeting Cha Cha.
oh, thank you. Shy Cha-Cha. I wanted to say too is I've looked at your bio and you are amazing. I
Thank
love
you.
your music, by the way.
Thank
I am
you.
so impressed by you and
Thank
by
you.
your word and what you have to say. I'm so happy that I've gotten to meet you.
It's interesting when you talk 1960, we have something else in common.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, Carl. See,
That 1960 is my year.
yeah, I know. Same with me. Are you March?
I'm September.
Okay, so you're a little bit younger than I am.
Yeah, a little bit. My best friend was born in July of '59, so I always tease him he was born in a different decade than me.
Yeah, yeah, so was Jack. So yes, yeah. Well, it's been a supreme pleasure. Thank you so much for your interest. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the blessings that you give us, Carl.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So I like to close like I always close, just a reminder to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like no one's watching. And remember, Peg Luke, my faith looks up to thee. One of the shortest paths to God is through music. God bless until we have a chance to meet again.
God bless.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Thank you for listening to the Carl B. Phillips Show. For more information, go to carlbphillips.com.
The Carl B. Phillips Show.
Follow Carl B. Phillips on Instagram so we can stay in contact with each other.